Thanks for joining us once again. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. The focus of our dialogue today is that Tesla has done a 20% price cut, and clearly that number is lower for the Model 3, but the number one selling vehicle is actually the Model Y, whose price cut is more important. So there's been some interesting developments going on, and in essence, one could argue that Tesla's 20% cut increases business 50%. So as a result, we're having some turnarounds by analysts where they're being surprised by the implications of that change. So the price cut resulted in reports of sellout by Tesla of inventory all over the world. The same analysts had come back and upgraded Tesla again because they could see the data on increasing sales. So let's dig into some mild numbers. When you add the tax credit of $7,500 to the price reduction, you could see a $20K reduction in price. For every $10,000 reduction in price, there's a 20% increase in potential clients who can fit that number in their budgets. Sidebar: this move is hurting competitors using price to find sales below Tesla, Tesla high prices. So, the stock and performance of some of the Tesla competitors out there are getting hit because customers are leaving those cars because the price advantage that they were operating with has largely disappeared. The pot of buyers unhappy with Tesla price but wanting the cars at a better price is large, it seems. In the last earnings announcement on Tesla, there was a strange discussion from Elon / Tesla figuring out how to produce 2 cars for what used to be the cost to produce 1 car. If real, that boggles the mind. Under this scenario, Tesla could have great margins while reducing prices. That is amazing and will be one of the key data points reviewed during earnings. I'm a believer Elon will announce that prices cut, but there will be no change in margins and even perhaps an increase in earnings and margins on cars. Stay tuned. Based on the 2-for-1 mentioned, an increase in margin would create pandemonium on the stock. So, my take on all of this is that in some cases, Tesla / Elon seem completely insane because there are some fundamentals that Tesla operates by that I have been questioning for a while to see whether or not A, they make sense, and B, they could be continued. In particular, what I was thinking about is Tesla has a process where when they started building their factories, instead of simply contracting with Grumman Engineering to build their new factories, they actually bought the company. And so this is Grumman was a specialty engineering firm in Germany that had customers across a broad range of auto companies. And there were a lot of angry people once that purchase was made. I listened to the whole thing and I was kind of surprised by the purchase because I thought that Tesla would do 3 or 4 new factories and then be done with it. And those factories would be finished and there wouldn't be a need to have your own full-time in-house automation entity when it came to those factories. The reality that's shown up is way different. So, as you know, Tesla has a process where the internals of their vehicles are changing approximately 30% a quarter. So they're continuing to refine the engineering and modifying the cars based on, one, performance, obviously, and two, cost of goods sold elements of those vehicles. Well, Tesla has sort of decided to turn on its head the whole manufacturing process as well. So my training in manufacturing and business suggests that what you're supposed to do is build a factory, then you amortize the cost of that build over time so that you pay it off, and it becomes rather profitable to have the setup of lines, the setup of everything stay the same, because it pays for itself and then yields a profit over time as you do that process. Well, something real different is going on at Tesla, where they're building both factories and lines. And instead of trying to maintain or establish and maintain a very steady production facility, they actually are sort of studying and redoing choke points, perhaps, on a regular basis in all of their manufacturing plants. And this results in more efficiency. But there's this battle between the cost of this constant change against leaving it the same. And clearly the justification of this is that if you can get better throughput, the throughput changes can impact the overall cost of production. And if you're able to, I want to say, beat the hurdle rate, if you can carefully study the modifications to justify the changes being made based on more throughput, for example, then it completely makes sense and sort of flips a lot of the structural manufacturing process operated at other companies on its ear. And so Elon tends to not get into this, but I believe the 2-for-1 discussion is not only, hey, can we reduce the cost of goods sold in what we're putting in the batteries, or cost of steel or cost of aluminum, but the other question mark is to sort of attack all your cost inputs, which includes the cost of manufacturing. So, there's some interesting theories that lurk out there. For example, Toyota has limited its automation to 25% max when it comes to using robots. They have the highest quality in the auto industry. Tesla's gone the other way. They're going 80% robots. And, initially there were some quality issues, but those have been ironed out. And, it's my belief they're chasing Toyota on quality, but they haven't achieved that yet. Is this a big deal? You could argue it is, because if you're pushing out at very high rates cars that are now sitting outside the factory and have to be retrofitted, all the costs related to those retrofits add up over time. So therefore, I would say the jury's kind of out on whether or not the intense automation is a great idea. But on first blush, one would have to say it's working out pretty well for Tesla/Elon. And we're going to see how those numbers play out in terms of profitability of that entity. We'll get into it at another point, but there are all these crazy numbers that are spitting out of Tesla. For example, a body coming out every 40 seconds in the Chinese factory is one of the things that's out there. And if they're able to do that, in theory, that's what's going to be coming out of Austin as well. So, as usual, Tesla is a wealth of crisscrossing activities, but well worth it in terms of potential improvement of what's going on for the company. At any rate, let's get that 200 price target we had in mind for Tesla. It doesn't look too far-fetched because we've closed that gap nicely in the last couple of days. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Our health tip for today, and I'm still working on doing it myself, and we'll do so right after this show, is my 25 leg lifts to start the day, and then try to get in the 20-minute walk today as discussed for our health tip from our latest doctor. Also wanted to encourage you to read up on gout and the food transitions as you age that may cause other issues. At any rate, once again, have a great day. Bye for now, and thanks for joining us.